Today I want to talk about how I made my first short documentary film using these items. Back in 2015, I was just starting to learn about filmmaking, and this was the phone that I used. This is a Samsung Galaxy S5, and this was all that I had at the time to record video. I was trying to learn about the filmmaking process and learning about the different kinds of films that are made. And one genre that stood out to me was the documentary style filmmaking. So I decided to challenge myself and I attempted to make a short documentary film of my own. I was not really sure where to start and I had no clue about coming up with ideas for a documentary style film. But I loved sports and I played a lot of basketball back then. And the hometown where I grew up had one of the most talented and popular basketball teams in the country. So I decided for my documentary film that I would highlight the work that they were doing with the young people in the community. To record the video for my short documentary film, I used my Samsung Galaxy S5 and I actually installed a third-party video recording app called Open Camera. With Open Camera, I was able to do a little bit more. There were a little more options available to help improve the video quality. Things like frame rate, 24 frames, 30 frames. With this phone, I was able to shoot up to 60 frames, but I mainly stayed at 24 and 30 frames. With the Open Camera app, I was also able to adjust features like the white balance. It also provided options to help frame up the shot. So it did help me a lot in terms of improving the quality of the video. I wanted to record the audio separately, and to do that I actually found a second cell phone laying around at home. I'm not really sure of the brand, there's no name on the phone. But what I did was I took this cell phone and this headphone jack and I used this to record the audio separate from the video. Now, this was not actually the microphone that I used on my documentary film, but what I did was I got a pair of scissors and I just got rid of the earpieces and used the microphone that was available as my mic to record my audio. I got the secondary phone that I found and I just attached the jack, and this was what I used as my external mic to shoot my short documentary film. I did encounter some challenges while shooting the audio for the documentary using this technique. One of the challenges that I had was that with this phone, the audio app would work occasionally. Sometimes it would work and sometimes it would not work. So to solve that problem, what I did was that I actually shot the audio using the camera app. So I would attach the mic to the interviewee and I would use the camera on this phone to capture the audio, and in post I would just extract the audio and use that along with the video from the other phone. And the final piece of equipment that I used to shoot my short documentary film was this selfie stick. Now this selfie stick was basically used just to attach the camera that I was shooting the video on, and it did help me a lot because it provided some type of stability to the camera footage, especially the B-roll shots that I captured during the shooting of the documentary. Now, when it came to the interviews, I did have some difficulties because my hands kept getting tired from holding the selfie stick while trying to focus on interviewing the coaches. To ease the strain of me constantly having to hold the selfie stick for the interviews, I actually came up with an idea. I purchased a couple 1.5-inch PVC pipes and I used those pipes as a makeshift tripod. And when I would do the interviews, I would take the pieces of PVC, make a base and a stand, and place the selfie stick inside of the PVC, and that would act as my tripod so that I can focus on asking the questions and getting the answers from the coaches during the interview. Unfortunately, I no longer have the full video available, but I was able to find a few scenes of the finished product that I did that I will place at the end of this video so you all can have a look and get an idea of how everything looked and sounded using these items that I had available. As far as quality goes, the final product may not be all that great, but back in 2015, I was just very eager to learn about filmmaking in any way that I could, and I was not going to let the lack of filmmaking gear stop me. So, if you are new to filmmaking or you are unable to afford all the latest filmmaking gear, then use what you have and see how creative you can get using the tools and gear that you have available to you right now. I had to remove the audio for this portion of the video for copyright purposes, but we will get to the interviews shortly.
When you see the work these fellas putting in and you actually see them in uniform on that day on the court, it kind of like warms your heart. My name is Marcus Jules and my position on the team is player coordinator. One day, the head coach, he was with his son and two other youths, and every evening they would do a little bit of ball work. And then the advisor, and myself, one day sitting on the bleachers and thinking, well, this would be a good idea if we kind of create something to help most of the youths, bring them back. Yeah, there's something to do on an evening. They have something to do basically because when youths don't have anything to do, they just find something to do. So if we could keep them off the street and have something to do, then, we could probably create something. Started with two youths one day, then 3 days later there was about 8 youths, and 2 weeks later there was about 25. And then we realized, well, hold on, here what? This thing going to get bigger, and I think we're onto something.
The community has responded in a positive way, being that parents of both teams, under 16 and under 19, they show support by coming to games, training. They even show support to one another as it had a particular family member had a fundraiser, and everyone came together to assist in some way or the other. Everyone getting to know one another. I mean, we live in the same community, but we don't know each other. You might see passing on the street side by side, but everybody coming together now, and it's like a oneness in our community.